You make me go live right now?
Yeah, I was totally setting you up.
We're live.
And we're live. I'm just waiting for a moment here to see if the Instagram one comes up because, oh, look at that. We're going vertical, baby. It's 9:16 vertical portrait mode, whatever you want to call it. That's what we're doing this evening. Hopefully you like it. But once again, here we are. It's live on a Wednesday evening, the last Wednesday evening of October 2025. Larry Mastropieri, broker, owner of the Mastropieri Group, alongside myself, John Laws of Discover South Florida. And Larry, I got to be honest. Before maybe a month ago, when we talked about it in another story, I had absolutely no idea what paddle was. I knew what pickleball was. I totally had heard of pickleball. That was all the rage, like the alternative to tennis. If you can't just take the grueling physical wear and tear of playing that game, which I understand as you get older. But anyway, I didn't know what paddle was. But apparently it is a real estate game changer in South Florida. But I bet you already knew that.
Yeah, you know it's so funny. Like I feel like people are just learning about this, and I just had to double check this. So some people are calling it Padel.
Is it paddle, Padel? I'm not cool enough for French.
Well, that's why I just literally I thought it was paddle. I thought you were right, and I just had to double check. Paddle. It is paddle. That's what Google says.
Yeah. So it would look cool, and it sounds cooler to say Padel, but
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, this is interesting. To me, it's kind of surprising. It's like this is kind of coming out of nowhere, and like everybody's getting behind this. Like developers, we're talking about now. So this is a real estate channel. We're talking about real estate. We're talking about guys putting lots of money behind this to build paddle courts. For example, right here, 8 paddle projects that were proposed or announced in South Florida in 2025. One of which is where we're at in Boca Raton, right? Which is a cool project. I think just generally a cool project because not only are they doing paddle, they're also doing pickleball, right? So usually comes together. And
is the one in Ocean Breeze entirely pickleball, or are there a couple paddle courts in there as well?
So it's paddle. Boca Paddle.
There it is.
And they spelled it paddle.
See?
That's great. So they're really Americanizing it, I think. Yeah. So it features 19 pickleball courts and 6 paddle courts. So, yeah.
That means they were aware. People knew that, they was kind of like, well, God, what if this pickleball thing doesn't stay around? Well, let me tell you something. We got paddle. And if that's what we need, then we're going to get it done.
Yeah. Yeah. And I first got exposed to this when I was in the Bahamas at one of these country club things. And they had these courts, and we were playing because we were spending time there, and it was a blast. It's awesome. It's a lot of fun. Exhausting, a lot of work. Really easy to tear my ACL. But,
again?
No, not again. That's why I dialed this back. But here in Boca Paddle, the indoor pickleball and paddle courts, which broke ground in June, they're saying promises to bring 100,000 square feet of space for the upcoming South Florida project. So, huge project. And then they have 7 others that are slated for development and are already in process, scattered through South Florida. Miami's a big one, obviously. Excel Paddle. They're launching their flagship facility, which looks just epic, right?
Yeah, they do look nice. I'll give them that.
So for me, it's like, these guys are doing their math, and they're looking at what trends make sense. And this seems to be the trend. I don't feel it here in Boca. Like, I'm not like, oh my God, everybody's obsessed with paddle. Pickleball. Yeah, that's a thing.
Well, right.
Sure.
I would hear about pickleball all the time. When I go and visit my folks, there's a couple pickleball courts in that neighborhood. I know they transformed those tennis courts that were in Hidden Valley that I know you've been through plenty of times. I think those are pickleball courts now too. So, it's taking over, and you can't stop it.
Tennis is out, pickleball's in, paddle's on its way. And it says here, paddle clubs in the U.S. grew 52% year over year.
Yeah, that's a lot.
There's actually not that many courts, 688 paddle courts, and 113,000 active players worldwide, which is interesting. Mm-hmm. And South Florida obviously leading the pack here with interest in this, because there's a heavy international population here, and paddle's pretty popular overseas, right?
Oh, it is? I don't know. Yeah. If you told me it was an American thing, I would have believed it. I'm like, oh God, those lazy Americans, they can't even run back and forth on the tennis court anymore. So now we got to keep making it smaller. But wait a minute. So our paddle courts, are they bigger than the pickleball, but smaller than tennis? Is that what we got here?
Yeah, actually, here, let me bring up a picture. Yeah, so let's see if I can show you. So they have like walls. It's kind of neat. It's kind of like
racquetball.
Yeah, I mean, yes, and some of these people are gonna be like, no, it's not. But this is what it looks like. So there's like walls here. I don't know how to explain this, other than like you see these walls.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's fun. It's fun. You use the walls. Not like I know how to play really well, but so.
Well, I'm sure the learning curve's probably not that steep. So I'd imagine that's probably a big part of the allure. I mean, tennis, if you've never played tennis before, it's challenging.
Yeah, totally.
So I can understand that, it kind of eases people into it a little more, like, casual people that want to stay active, like retirees in South Florida. I get it.
Yeah, 100%. And so developers are using these amenities to help sell their real estate, right? If they're putting it in communities, or if they're putting it adjacent to the communities. And then we just have real companies coming in that specialize in this and building them, like we have in Boca right here with that new Boca paddle, that'll be cool. I'm excited. When that's done, we'll go check it out for sure. So
I'll take you on. All right. So I feel like we've really learned something here today. Are we going to talk about the luxury slowdown that's supposedly happening now with South Floridians possibly going back to New York? Because this, I'm not going to call BS straight up. I mean, the Real Deal certainly does their homework, but I just found this fascinating to see, because as we were just talking about off camera, is how, if I see the news and who's going where with the mayoral election in New York, and Donnie's going to win and all the millionaires are going to leave and come to Florida. But now I'm seeing this. They're saying, no. The people down here are going to go back to New York. So it's like, what the hell is happening?
I think the truth here is somewhere in between, right? So
trading places.
There's unlikely to be this massive, like catastrophic or amazing exodus from New York. People have been saying this forever. New York, New York's dead. New York is not dead. New York is far from dead. New York's one of the most iconic places in the world, right? Mm. And there's a reason for that. And even with politics, I think New York still remains that way, right? But I do think, and we've had calls from millionaires saying, hey, if this happens, we're considering, moving. And we're working with a number of people that are always moving around for tax reasons all the time. So this is just probably going to step that up if the politics lean one way or the other, right? Mm-hmm. And for this, what we're talking about here in this news article that's saying, hey, South Florida's luxury market is slowing down. I mean, that's true. There's no question about that, right? You can see it in all the stats, like homes are sitting on the market longer. And if you look at specifically higher end homes, it's a thing. We have a number of listings, but one specifically that comes to mind is a $6 million listing in Del Rey. And I was spending time with some of the other agents who are very dominant in that marketplace, talking to them about a lot of the projects they have listed, because they have a number of them, substantially more than we do. And just asking them how things are going, and we're close. So they're sharing the truth. And the reality is, hey, there's not a lot of demand, or not as much demand as there was. The homes are sitting longer, and we will likely have to cut prices in order to move some of this product. But what we're seeing, and there's a comment here in this article, even though number of sales have slowed down, because that's what they're saying. Slowdown means number of sales have slowed down, not prices have come down in that space. More so just number of home sales have slowed down, while New York's have accelerated a bit, right? And the reason why, so the outcome of that is not prices have come down, but prices have actually remained flat here in this marketplace, right? Which again, that may, if the slowdown continues, prices will likely come down. But for now, prices are not really budging. And a lot of that is because you're talking about guys, developers, buyers, et cetera, that have a lot of money and they don't always have this sense of urgency to sell. They can sit on these things. Plus, a lot of this luxury product that we're talking about is new construction, and it's coming from developers who might have like 40 in the pipeline. We know guys that have 40 or more in the pipeline. They're still buying, they're still building. And if they take a hit on this one, it's not just this one. They get the next 40 to reduce price on as well. So it's they are very resistant to make price adjustments, right? Because they need to continue to set the comps for the neighborhood or wherever they're building. And so holding price at a certain number is very important to them financially.
Well, and that makes sense with what we were talking about last week with the auctions, because obviously they set a minimum. So that allows them theoretically to hold that price and, keep your fingers crossed that people are willing to pay and go over that.
Right. Exactly. So that, I think, is a pretty good recap of what we're seeing. Here's some excerpts from this, though. Miami's $10 million plus deals dropped 52%, and Palm Beach saw an 18% decline. So while at the same time, New York saw 97% jump in the same kind of sales, which is the biggest rebound since the pandemic. And, we were just in a listing appointment with a seller here in Boynton Beach. And I asked, and they're from New Jersey, and they just bought a home in New Jersey. And I said, hey, how did that go? And they're like, chaos, complete chaos. They were like, we were losing out on offers that were bidding, 10% above asking. It was just wild. And I'm like, well, just so you know, when we go to market with your property here, it's not the same dynamic. And they're like, we get it. But it's true. That's the market's hot in some of these areas, and it's falling in South Florida. That's probably.
Is that why are they going back? I'm just curious. I mean, was it for other reasons, or was it because of some of these market things we're talking about?
No, they're not even actually relocating. They actually already live up there. And so this was a second or third home. It was a family home. Some of the family members passed away. They're not going to use it. And so they're selling it. So their reason is the same as these guys. That was just kind of an example of like, hey, the market in other parts of the country is not the same as it's down here. And down here is right now is softer than most of these northern cities. And we've talked about this, right? We talked about the Rust Belt becoming super competitive all of a sudden, right? And so same for New Jersey, New York. This is a thing. They're seeing a strong real estate market while we're seeing a softening real estate market.
Yeah. I feel like it's just shifting. Everything's cyclical.
Yeah. We had a huge run. We had a crazy run down here. Right?
Like it was a good run. It was a good run.
Good run. Throwing the towel now, guys.
Okay. Yeah. All right. We had our moment. So did the industrial park. Or excuse me, the flea market, which is to be replaced by the industrial park in Pompano Beach. I don't know how familiar you were, Larry, with the flea market in Pompano. But if you were, it's gone for good. But in its place is a $66 million transformation that could redefine Broward County's industrial landscape. Because for decades, if you're a local there, you knew it as kind of a weekend hotspot, the Festival Flea Market off of Sample Road. So after 40 years of operation, it's being demolished to make way for something completely different. The Festival Logistics Park, which is a massive 3-building industrial complex backed by Foundry, Commercial, and Wheelock Street Capital. Because, man, Pompano Beach just can't help themselves. The turnover, everything they're putting up there just in these past few years is crazy.
they're rocking and rolling.
Yeah.
And,
it's like, it's not just the high rises. I mean, it's like they're doing stuff everywhere.
This is a little different from what we usually talk about.
Yeah.
It's interesting because it was like kind of a staple location for a lot of people. You said hot spot. I had to laugh. It's just like, that's kind of funny, right?
Thank you, Fernanda.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Our producer plugged that in. But like, if you just look at where it is, it's very different from what we've talked about, right? A lot of what we talked about is on this coastline, right? This is like the big developers, but where we are, what we're talking about here is this, like this building, this property all right here. And so they're expected, as you mentioned, to replace this. This is it's a little rundown. So what they're going to put there is going to be great, right? And this is huge. It's 26 acres. It's a 26-acre facility, so it's a big piece of land. It's right across the street from what we call Mount Trashmore. I almost said Mount Rushmore. Mount Trashmore.
The Mount Rushmore of trash.
The highest peak in South Florida.
That's right.
Here. Yep, right here. I actually used to work as an engineer at this power plant until they shut it down, believe it or not. So I spent a lot of time on this hill, for sure. Anyway, so this makes sense. This is the right fit for this industrial. This is a very industrial area. And frankly, South Florida needs these areas to continue to service and the population. Right. So this is a good spot, but it's nice to see that like we're improving the surroundings, because in that area, actually, like the area is pretty nice. It's like, from a retail and industrial perspective, there's a lot of like quality buildings with real quality operators, whether that's like big Fortune 100 or 500 companies. They have a lot of industrial space there all around Mount Trashmore. So yeah. And what's interesting is, so Foundry and Wheelcock paid $66 million for this. You mentioned that. Which is about $10 million more than when it last sold in 2018. So kind of interesting. And again, they're putting a huge facility here. Now, these guys, Wheelcock Foundry Commercial has been on a crazy buying spree with about $5 billion in assets acquired since 2015. So, yeah. And that's about 10 million square feet just in South Florida. Okay. 10 million square feet. These guys are big players. This project is going to get done, right? This is happening. And Wheelcock, on the other hand, owned a big chunk of Uptown Boca, which they recently sold for $118 million. So these guys are real players in South Florida. And I think it's optimistic. It's not just optimistic. I think it's realistic to say, hey, this project's likely going to happen. They get things done. So, yeah.
Okay. All right. We will keep it moving and staying in Broward. Let's talk about Kushner as they expand in Hollywood. A 470 unit multifamily and synagogue approved near the Hard Rock Casino. If you're unfamiliar with the New York powerhouse who's planning these deeper roots in South Florida in Hollywood, it's on a key 5.7 acre site right there at Sterling Road and State Road 7. The city commission has greenlit a bold mixed use vision. You'll have an 8-story multifamily building, 7-story garage, a dedicated synagogue, and the preservation of the historic Bryant House. So, we're not gonna let history go away. We're gonna make everybody happy. Except the anti-Semites, I guess. I don't know. I mean, they're the only people that think of being against it.
So this is where it's located. Zoom out. You can watch my mouse here just so you can get a sense. Okay, so another project further out west. A lot of the stuff we're talking about usually is on the coast, right, or somewhere in that realm. And so these developers are expanding all throughout South Florida.
Oh, it really is by the Hard Rock, isn't it? That's it, right to the north.
Yeah, right here. Yeah. Disregard that this is Deer nightclub, or how do you say that? Dare. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And so here's what I was going to say here. So yeah, as you mentioned, 470 units. This is a big project.
A lot.
Yeah. The Hard Rock is a huge employer, right? I mean, there's so much going on there. Yeah. So there's good, and in this area there's a lot happening over by the Hard Rock. You're right adjacent to so you're in Hollywood, but you're adjacent to Davie. Davie's got a lot going on. There's huge demand here for residential, right? Yeah. So
I mean, I only find the synagogue interesting just because it's a religious building, like a church or something like that. Does that usually require special zoning or?
Yeah, it's a good question. I'm actually looking. I didn't see anything written on like why they did this. They don't do anything for free or for no reason.
That's
right?
what I'm saying. It just, I mean, for all these projects we talk about, regardless of where they are, east versus central versus west, that mixed use never includes a religious building.
Yeah, 4,000 square feet plus a 9,300 square foot clubhouse. So the Hollywood City Commissioner rezoned the development site from North Mixed Use to Planned Development, or PD, which is what they needed, and approved a partial demolition of the Bryan House to remove a portion of the structure that was not part of the original construction. So the Bryan House is a early 1900s building. Okay. John Bryan Jr. Originally, he was originally involved with the orange groves there. I don't know. Designated a local historic site in 1999. And so they're working on, I think this is like a part of the deal. Like they for some reason they had to do this, and it's not super clear why. Yeah. Whatsoever. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whatever it takes, I guess.
Yeah, it says in 2021, local attorney Sam, I can't pronounce his last name, bought the property for $2.75 million without realizing the old house was historic. After finding out, he worked with the city to protect it from further damage and found a developer willing to restore it. Right now,
how do you not know a building is historic? If it's really old, I mean, chances are it's got to be something. You don't just accidentally. I mean, we're talking about a building that's century old. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Yeah. Over the decades, different families lived there until it was abandoned and basically fell apart. So he must have, in this transaction to sell it, they must have made a deal where one, he restores it, obviously, and now it's historic, so he's got to deal with that anyway. And two, he gets somehow they get this synagogue set up here. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So AI startups, they're leaving San Francisco. At least one of them are. This is something that I find kind of interesting because it wasn't the one that we had talked about before. That was actually in West Palm Beach. I was actually thinking of ServiceNow with related Ross, but that's not what's going on here. We're talking about a different AI startup which just ditched San Francisco, and they're coming to Boca, joining two other new tenants at Boca Raton's biggest office campus. Okay, so you have three new companies. That includes the California-born Echo Twin AI. They've just signed leases at the Brick, Boca Raton Innovation Campus, adding 78,000 square feet of new activity to the city's biggest office property. All right, so I'm looking for the other ones here. I see Echo Twin AI. Who are our other tenants that make this?
Other new tenants expanding the ecosystem. Cinch Home Services.
Oh, there it is.
Solutions. Yeah. Well, what's interesting? This company, Echo Twin AI, they're taking 2,700 square feet in the Boca Raton Innovation Campus. It's the first time this company will ever have an office. So this is their strategic move. This guy, Chris Carson, and his 5-person team will be in this office space. So, yeah. And they provide infrastructure intelligence to help cities manage urban environments more efficiently. It uses proprietary visual intelligence engine to turn municipal fleets like garbage trucks and street sweepers into mobile sensors. Working
I'm picturing like a group of kids working in one of those, rental work spaces, not necessarily a permanent office, but I'm picturing like a group of kids sitting around a table doing AI stuff and like, you know what, I guess we need an office eventually, and the right people reaching out and bringing them to Boca Raton. Like, man, the AI, that's It's scary.
It would be great to hear why Chris chose. I mean, they came from San Francisco. They probably were
like why didn't you go
Florida's
somewhere else in
interesting.
California?
Yeah. I mean, California's expensive all over, but like,
Boca
so
ain't that cheap.
they chose Florida, and they chose Boca Raton specifically, which is pretty interesting. Maybe they have more contracts here,
Right.
with city officials and stuff. So that could be one of the reasons. But I get the tax thing and the cost. Boca's not cheap either, but it's not.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, oh, it's a steal.
Yeah. It is. The weather's great. So
the weather is great.
The weather's better here than San Francisco.
Yeah.
Great. Like I mean.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. The reason why we're talking about this primarily is because we keep talking about Boca Raton's innovation campus, which is like super interesting. It's the location where IBM invented the first computer, the first personal computer, right?
Yep.
So, and this is where it is, located right in Boca. Huge campus with tons of development potential, but it also houses a lot of innovative companies, and it's a big place. It's got a ton of square feet, and they have huge development projects in the pipeline on this property. Besides around this like office complex, and it's pretty cool. It's like huge water fountain feature thing here in the middle, and then it's like this huge thing. It looks small.
It's a very well maintained campus.
Yeah. It's pretty.
Yeah.
They're always doing work on it. There's a lot to do here, and there's a lot to come in this area. So from a real estate perspective,
that's what I was going to say, because I know we talked about it a week or two ago. Some of those projects that are going on right to the north on the other side of Yamato there. And now you have this AI company setting up shop here.
Yeah.
Is that a coincidence, Larry? I don't know.
We keep seeing this trend. We're talking about it like every other week. Something interesting's happening with a new tech company or something.
And I think they're all right in the same,
Yeah. The tech thing, I don't think you need to be in San Francisco per se to be in business anymore. It used to be, hey, we're in San Francisco because all the talent's here. But that seemed to have changed a little bit with remote work combined with AI stuff. It seems like that's going to be a little bit more flexible, and that's why I think these guys are starting to move to places they like. And Boca is not a bad place to be. You know what's interesting? I don't know if anybody knows this, but Everglades University holds about 52,000 square feet. And so they've just recently expanded to that size in brick. So in Boca Raton Innovation Campus, and then modernizing medicine renewed 127,000 square foot lease. And that's they have 400 plus people that work at that facility, which is wild. And then New Tech, a financial services company, has about 8,000 square feet there. Let's see. It says these renewals bring 188,000 square feet of retained occupancy and highlight ongoing confidence in this project here. So, yeah. And then, here we go. We didn't even get into this. So, like $100 million transformation. Let me see if I can show some pictures. Let's see if this works.
Pixar didn't happen.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to show on this, but we'll see if it works. So, like,
I could see it.
Yeah.
Oh,
so they're putting so the upgrades here, they're planning to spend $100 million, and the brick campus is co-owned by CP Group, and then I don't even know how to say this, RIALTO, Rialto, whatever.
Yeah.
DRA Advisors and Las Olas Capital Advisors. And so their $100 million plan includes new coffee shops, wellness and fitness centers, new dining options and event space, 1,243 residential units, 125,000 square feet of retail space, 85,000 square feet of medical offices, 55,000 square feet of entertainment venue space, and 140 room boutique hotel.
Yeah, so I think we talked about this a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
And now here's my question. Do you think the CP Group, Rialto, DRA Advisors, et cetera, went out to San Francisco probably, or at least at minimum had a Zoom call with these guys saying, hey, tell you what, you come set up shop here, here's what we have for you. Look at our brochure and kind of win them over like that.
It's so funny to your point. I'll answer your question in a second, but this is us right here talking about it. That's great. Okay. I'm sure they have their feelers out and their relationships, and they have brokers that are working to do this and that specialize in, like, that's a big thing, right? Like when you are a commercial leasing agent for this stuff, you're like, and these are big groups, that's their job to source new quality tenants. And so they're talking to everybody. Big national brands. They're talking to the key guys involved in choosing new locations. And then they're talking to the small guys. They're just making it happen. So yeah, I mean, this whole vision here is like corporate campus, mixed use innovation hub, where you can do almost everything, live, work, and then collaborate, right? And so you can have your gym, you can live in that condo building. People can come in from out of town, stay at the hotel, right? All of that right there in one space. And I think that vision is great. I think that'll work for sure. And all they got to do is just execute. And they're like constantly doing work over there. Like every time I go over there, it's like something else is going up or they're working on stuff. So, but they have to execute on some of these bigger projects, and this will get done. I don't think there's much resistance in general to this, No,
that's safe for the Boca Raton government campus.
Yeah, totally. So,
all right, as we keep it moving here, we have Lennar, who's among a group of buyers who dropped $68 million into this Broward development site. This is in Coconut Creek. To be more specific, it's a joint venture, major South Florida developers acquiring 170 acres for Main Street. So this is a project that is incredibly ambitious. I was actually reading a little bit about this one earlier. Was this the one that started back in 2017, opened its first building in 2020, and it's still, I believe, supposed to keep going until like 2032? Is this part of that, what was it, I forget, but anyway, it is a massive project.
Yeah, let me share Main Street, Coconut Creek. Here's some images of the vision here.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and so I mean, this is Lennar, big player,
right? When they're involved, that it's legit.
Yeah. And they're and it's a joint venture, right? They got other guys involved, but 170 acres.
Yeah, it's huge.
It's been going for a while. That's insane, right? 12 development blocks, 1,650 homes, 225,000 square feet of commercial space, wetland preserve, biking trails, basically a new downtown city, which is like really hard to do, in South Florida. Like you don't have the space to do this.
Well, what's so fascinating, I mean, I don't know if you have the map available as well. When I think of Sunrise, I think of the Amerant Bank Arena, where the Florida Panthers play and stuff. It's so funny because once upon a time, I guess 30 years ago, whatever, when they first built that, were they doing that with the expectation that everything else was going to go up around it and just never did? I can remember the first time I went down there for a Blues game a couple of years ago when they were in town. I was just, that's what I just assumed, but maybe it's still all possible.
Yeah. I think these, yeah, John, that's it. That's it. Duh. So this is the location, right? Turnpike, Sample, in between Lions Road, right? And it's funny, we just talked about this development, right?
Yeah.
This is where the and I was just saying how like this area is pretty decent. Mount Trashmore right here.
Oh, right.
And
so it's all right by that.
It's all right here. I mean, this whole area is poised for transformation. I mean, let's villas, condos, shared clubhouse, all under Lennar's wing. Let's see. GSR RE Partners will keep the apartments and retail sections, including an 80,000 square foot grocery anchored plaza. That's a big plaza. The site will feature a 14-acre wetland preserve and over 6 miles of biking trails. What's really cool about this, this area in general is pretty sweet because like you just connect straight to Butterfly World, which is right here.
Oh yeah,
the whole park right here, Trade Winds. If you ever played frisbee golf or disc golf or whatever you want to call it, that's like they have something here. So yeah, they got this is like all going to be kind of like interconnected. This park is going to be much more active. Some people, and we've sold a lot around here, you know, some people have their fears around being close to this hill. I would just tell you, at some point, this hill's not going to go away, but they're going to be done working on it, and there's going to be nothing there anymore. It's just going to sit empty as like that might end up being a nature preserve as well, which could be kind of interesting long term. They got some more life on this thing though. But generally speaking, I don't really see it as a major issue. But it is close to the trash hill, so. That'll affect value, and so there'll be pretty decent value here, which will probably be good. It says, what does it say here? Lennar's move here shows a clear pivot from sprawling single-family homes to denser for-sale multifamily projects, right? So kind of pivoting. Lennar is historically known for townhomes, single-family homes, not so much condos in this area, and so now they're just getting it done however makes sense now. And that's basically what they're saying. And what we were alluding to, it's like with Broward running out of raw land, this is how builders, stay in the game.
Yeah.
They go vertical, mixed use, right?
Right.
Yeah. Let's see. Developers say this will become the new heart of Coconut Creek, blending homes, shops, civic space, and parks into a true city center. What I will say about this is, if you guys know anything about Coconut Creek, we can kind of like just expand on this a little bit. There is, where is it at? Right here, just right up the street. I forget what it's called. What is this place called? Right here. They got a ton of great restaurants here. Movie theater.
Yeah.
This is like a popular spot. Let's see if I zoom out if it tells us what it is. Again, I forget the name off the top of my head. Yeah. So anyway, long story short, it'll come to me in like right when we sign off.
Right when we go on to the next one.
Totally. So. But it's the promenade, Coconut Creek Promenade, really cool spot. Like we will come here from Boca occasionally to meet, or like we'll do lunch meetings here if we're meeting like midway between something that's outside of like Boca as an example. So, this whole area with this opening up, that parks connected to it, it's going to transform the area. It's going to be really nice. So, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I just totally realized I was thinking about Sunrise earlier. So I'm getting my projects mixed up. But anyway, all right. So let's go back to Boca. A lawsuit, could it stop downtown's biggest redevelopment plan? Well, I don't know. It sounds like they've had some success already with just protests and things. Apparently a lawsuit just hit Boca Raton, and they say it could stop one of the city's biggest redevelopment projects in decades. A retired attorney, this is Ned Kimmelman, he filed a lawsuit to block a citizen-led petition. You've seen the signs, the green Save Boca, that could force voter approval on future city land deals. But then he abruptly withdrew it 9 days later. No hearings, no rulings, no explanation. He was out. Okay, so what happened then?
Come on, Ned, what'd you do?
I don't know. Well, you'll have to forgive me. Notes are a little all over the place like me.
So we'll just walk it back for anybody who's new to this. So for months, Boca has been divided, to say the least, right? Over this like massive downtown redevelopment.
Oh, I don't have my flyer anymore. Yeah, I used to have a Save Boca flyer sitting right here.
So the citizens have been getting pretty vocal about this. There's 30 acres city-owned land in downtown, and the city just went ahead and said, hey, we're choosing this developer. They're going to do all this great stuff. Looks awesome. We were pretty excited about it. Me and John here. Others were not excited, and they have their reasons, and that's fair and fine. Maybe some of their reasons are valid. Long story short, the developer they chose was Terra and Frisbee, big developers. Terra and Frisbee boxed out, related group, Steve Ross, right? These big players. And so Tara and Frisbee have been working through this. I've been getting emails like crazy about this. I've been getting the updates. Hey, this is what's going on. So as we just talked about, there's critics, and they're not too fond of this. Boca's a pretty wealthy city, by the way. Not just like wealthy as in the people who live here are wealthy, but the city itself has a fair amount of money.
Oh yeah.
So some people are arguing like, why do we need to bring in private companies like this and give up our land? We can just rebuild things ourselves, et cetera, et cetera. I have a feeling that's harder or more complicated than that statement makes it sound, because part of the deal was, hey, we're rebuilding the city hall, et cetera, right? All that stuff there was going to be a part of like, hey, Tara and Frisbee are going to handle that and just let us use it, right? And we're leasing the land to them, right? And so like there was some pushback on that. Obviously, traffic always the bigger concern. So let's see.
When I was looking at it today, did you know that project now has gone from the original plans that we were talking about, for a while, that 31 acres, it's like down to 8.
Yeah.
Down to 8. Like Tara Frisbee has been like, hey, like they're playing along, like, okay, we'll scale it back a little more. We'll scale it back a little more. And it's like, man, there are people, this is the hill they are prepared to die on.
100%. Yeah. So let's see here. So Kimmelman, or if that's how you pronounce his name, his lawsuit accused Save Boca. Okay. So Save Boca of using misleading language, egregious falsehoods to collect signatures. So, hey, the Save Boca crew is very passionate, and they've been sending out stuff. And there's probably been a few people involved in that, and maybe maybe the language they're using isn't necessarily correct. But now with the case dismissed, the group's ballot measure remains alive. So it's kind of interesting. We got to find Kimmelman to find out what he's doing here. So here's legal twist. Kimmelman's voluntarily dismissed his lawsuit without prejudice, meaning he can refile. So there's that. Maybe he's going to refile, maybe differently. Court documents showed procedural issues, including missing or flawed summons requests before the case could move forward. Neither the city nor Save Boca had responded yet. So that's kind of interesting. So it sounds like this is suggesting he kind of messed it up.
Yeah. I was going to say, I'm picturing a retired lawyer. Maybe he's got friends on the
95 years
council,
old.
and they're like, hey, Kimmelman, you got anything to do? How about you, just to kind of get these guys off our back? Can you file a lawsuit and see, if they'll stop doing this? And then it's like, man, you guys didn't think I was going to actually follow through with this, did you? Like maybe they called their bluff and he blinked. I don't know.
Yeah. Hey, it says the fight over downtown land is directly influencing Boca's mayoral race, right? So now the most expensive in city history, which is interesting. So we got candidates here. So the twist is in. Here's the twist. There's a political undercurrent, and we're going to talk about it. Candidates, Fran Naklis and Andy Thompson, both current council members, have already raised nearly $700,000 combined, with projections topping $1 million before Election Day. All right, so Nicholas,
dude, that is a whole lot for the 23rd largest city in Florida. That is a whole lot just for a political.
Well, how about this? Okay, so this is super interesting. Nicholas, so his supporters are real estate companies, Wexford Real Estate Investors, okay, seeking approval for a 12-story downtown condo, and People's Trust Insurance, also real estate heavy, right? Which donated $10,000 to her committee. So like, okay, all right. So, but I mean, you raised $700,000 combined. Okay, so there's about probably whatever, half and half. Who knows? Okay. Thompson's backing includes multiple Royal Palm Yacht and Country Club residents, which is one of the wealthiest communities in Boca. For anyone who doesn't know, really nice community. Many opposed to the Tara Frisbee project, and significant funds connected to the Seminole tribe of Florida, funneled through a political committee run by his consultant. So both candidates deny conflicts. Of course they do.
Oh, yeah.
No conflict. But Money Trail shows how deeply real estate interests are shaping Boca's next election. Valid. always been valid, will likely continue to be valid forever, or for a very long time. That's the game. These smaller cities. It's easier to influence these cities than it is to influence like a presidency, right? And so these billionaires are playing that game. We talked about this, right? We talked about how like Steve Ross and some of these other billionaires, besides Jeff Green, who's fighting the city right now, right?
Oh yeah.
But Steve Ross, who like, these guys contribute to get to win approval for certain things, or to at least be in favor with these individuals who eventually get office, right? So.
What? So Singer isn't running again? I guess what? Can he not run again?
What's his first name again?
Scott Singer?
Scott Singer.
I mean, I've seen the man, on TV.
Yeah. He may run for Congress.
Well, that was going to be my next question. I was like, maybe he has higher political ambitions.
That's what it seems like.
I'm sure
he hasn't confirmed it yet.
Somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great. Well, this is just, this twist right here is so good. This is solid. Yeah. This is solid. So Boca's future downtown, or not downtown, big city project has changed dramatically since its initial proposal, and
from 30
likely change again.
8.
Yeah. Hey, I'll take 8 acres of development. They can work on the other stuff later if they want.
So I'd imagine, without even looking, 8 probably covers like the immediate government, buildings. Like
we haven't seen I haven't seen like the most updated map here.
No, I haven't.
It's been like so back and forth here right now.
Yeah.
So we'll get on this, and we'll report what we see.
Like I'm trying to, without going too far, but I'm like trying to envision the bare essentials, if you will, of what this would look like. This.
My understanding is like closer to the train tracks is more interesting for a lot of these residents, like building there, which by the way could use the cleanup. So giddy up, just go knock it out, guys. Let's go do this. Let's come to an agreement. Let's figure this out. Yeah.
Well, in the end, now I guess it's going to come down to a vote, I believe. So, which I think is fair. I understand the concern of not wanting to essentially give away public land for private companies' use. Like I understand that in principle, but I'm just like, man, don't look a gift horse in the mouth is kind of how I feel about the whole thing. that it's like, it looks really good.
As long as
that's my opinion. Whatever.
Done right. Yeah, it's exciting. What they had proposed was exciting. Assuming the deal was fair and right. And so that's where I think that's where the details, therein lies the details where there could have been an issue. But anyway, we'll wrap it up tonight.
All right. I'll just about do it. So on behalf of our vertical format, portrait mode, whatever you want to call it, maybe we'll keep this one going. Larry Mastropieri, broker owner of the Mastropieri Group, alongside myself, John Laws of Discover South Florida. I want to thank everybody who tuned in, and we will see you next week on the next one.